Well, hello there again, friends. Grab a cup of coffee and a seat because I'm Paulie and this is Paulie's Power Hour. Alright, so you might be wondering what we're doing today. Well, as you can see, here is the Corvette. We are going to get this thing fired up today. Heck yeah, about time. It's a little warm, so I got my biggest fan going. Is what it is. But, alright, so let's recap. Alright, so here is a 355 cubic inch small block Chevy that we have swapped into this Corvette, replacing the old 350 here. Now, this is all well and good, but just like a math quiz, there's a problem. You can't really see it, or you might be able to, but there's a bend right here. Right, and you see this space right here between the Bendix and the flex plate? That's not good. It's not supposed to be that close. Like, it's going to be close, but not that close. And then basically what happens is as the engine spins around, this is bent in a little bit, and it contacts the starter. Torque converter, that's not the issue because it's on the pump. You can hear it, right? So what's the solution moving forward? I'm glad you asked. So the obvious is that we're going to have to replace this flex plate. And we're not going to pull the engine out to do this. That is not going to happen. So the next best thing, transmission. Now fortunately this Corvette has a removable cross member here. So we're going to have to take the collectors loose. We're going to have to take the cross member loose. And then once all that's out of the way, the drive shaft's obviously going to have to come off the back of the transmission. And then after that, bell housing bolts, and then my transmission jack on this really sturdy transmission pan that Mikey put on here. And then we slide the transmission back out of the way with the torque converter still attached to the trans, and replace the flex plate, slide everything back in, and then we get to hear this thing roar for the first time. And let me tell you, I am very excited to hear that happen. So without further ado, let's get to work. Bring the trans jack in here, grab a block of wood. So you want to make sure when you set a block of wood on a pan like this, so this is the drain plug here, all right, and you don't want to break that, so you want to kind of put this across the meat of the pan, which is what we're doing. And right now all I'm doing is supporting. Now I'm going to do the drive shaft bolts. Put the car in neutral and you can spin the drive shaft around. So I use my wrench to break them loose. And I grab my zip gun. Now one thing I do like to do is take some electrical tape. You want to wrap these up because inside these little caps are a whole bunch of little needle bearings. And if one of them caps comes off, it makes a mess, especially trying to get all the needle bearings to go back in there, and then you're gonna have to, buy another U-joint and do all that stuff. Nobody wants to deal with that, so I just put some tape over it. All right, drive shaft is out. I marked it with an F for the front. I've taped up both U-joints or universal joints to make sure that they do not release needle bearings all over the place. And then that takes us back underneath the car to do the cross member next. So, in an unfortunate twist of fate, not only did we have to take the exhaust down, but now I'm fighting with this cross member. And I don't know who did this, but when I find out, I'm going to kick him in the head. Instead of making this removable, this is welded to this cross member. What a pain. Now I got to force this metal rod through this rubber bushing, probably break the rubber bushing and have to replace it. But I need this pipe free of this so I can slide this all the way back. And then once I slide this back on the pipes, I'll be able to get the transmission out. But this. Piss. Alright, new plan. I'm taking the whole exhaust out of here. Alright, so while I wait for David to help me with this exhaust, I'm going to tackle these upper bell housing bolts right here. I got this one and then there's one below it. I'm not going to take that last bottom one out until we're ready to drop the trans. That should be enough to hold it. Plus the trans jack is supporting the weight, so yep, reach in there with a long 9/16 and break them bad boys loose. Keep in mind, just like last time, I am bagging all my bolts and labeling them as I take them apart. So I have 2 more bell housing bolts to put in here. And then once David gets here, we're going to drop this exhaust. All right, we are finally joined by David on his phone. And parts. We have flex plate bolts, and we have torque converter bolts, and an SFI approved, really nice flex plate. So now that David's here, we're going to take the exhaust out and get transmission out of this thing finally. Alright, exhaust, cross member out. I have removed the shifter cable. I put the 2 bolts back in here, and I put the cotter pin back in here to remind myself that that's there. And then I have to disconnect the TV cable from up top and the speedometer cable, which the old 10mm. Transmission's pulled back. David's getting the flex plate bolts out. You might need to turn that light. I have a jack with a block of wood just to support the engine. It's not really holding anything, but you got to think the motor mounts are more forward than anything else. And then this, I'll be able to use this, and we can raise and lower the front of the trans as we need to. And yep, we have new parts. We're getting the old parts off. Ooh, that reminds me. All right, so here's the bad one. We got this, yeah, we got a little bit of wiggle, a little bit of wobble, right? You can see it wiggling. All right, David, if you please. And the same spot, no wiggle. The flex plate is bent. So now we got this nice one from TCI, and we are going to throw it in the car. All right. So we've got some nice ARP bolts. And they have specific instructions, such as do not use any washers, check the part numbers, use red Loctite, and the enclosed fastener assembly lubricant, and then torque to 85 pound-feet using the specified lubricants in step 4. Install the flex plate onto the crankshaft and tighten the bolts by hand using alternating crisscross pattern. Torque the bolts to 85 foot-pounds using the specified lubricants. Easy day. This side must face engine. And you'll see we have a third hole out here, or odd man out. So this goes like you want to make sure it's seated, just like we did before. Only now this one's not bent. Alright, so usually the best way to do this is to have a process. We're gonna dab a little dab. And then get a little lubricant around the head of the bolt. And then put it in. Alright, torque wrench is right there.
Who's torquing?
Well, I'm going to have to hold.
No, you're going to torque. Because I had to pull this way to loosen. So I just go that way to torque.
Alright, can you pull towards you with this?
Yeah. Can you line her up?
Alright, so they want 85 pound-feet.
Can you...
Yeah, there you go. Alright, so they want 85, so we should do...
What are we doing?
40? Well,
46,
no. We should do...
45, 65, 85.
Let's do 35.
That's like hand tight. 68 inch-pounds is hand tight. It's like 12 foot-pounds. Did you put washers on there?
No. Alright, we'll do 40 then.
Those are hexes.
I found
Yeah, I
no
know.
one.
Or, sorry, 12 point.
I found no one.
Alright, it's locked.
Here.
Alright, here we go. 40.
The one back here.
80. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Alright. Top.
Oh, you're clicking.
It's not. There it is. Oh my god, I missed all of that.
It's alright.
Right, so
There's a ground right
yeah,
here.
there's a ground. It's got to go.
Is that the one it goes in?
Yeah, here. Let me get you a light. In case you want it.
I saw it. I just lost the bolt. It's under the jack. Got it.
Got it? So the car's back together. I'll go underneath and show you everything put back together, but this is exciting because we are about to turn the key. Well, David's going to turn the key and I'm going to turn the distributor. Oh, just a warning for those of you with headphones. This is open headers. Because cowabunga it is. Alright, first bump the key. Bump it. Sounds good. All right, hang on. Hang on, let me tighten this down just a touch. All right, turn the key and see what happens. Go ahead. Hang on. Stupid ass plug wires. Oh no, hang on. This one's not even on. Alright, go ahead and hit it. Try it again. Try again. Making all kinds of noise.
It's not making noise.
It's good. All right, try it again. Try it again. Yeah, hang on. Let me turn the idle screw. Let me turn it back this way a little bit. I'll give it a try. None? Pressure gauge? All pressure gauge? Yeah, I think he might have broke the sender.
Sensor?
The sender, yeah. He said he did
Sender or sensor?
sender. So
like, there is no oil pressure, or we're
there's
just getting
oil pressure, there's just no reading. He says he might have broken the sender when he was taking it out. It's possible he might have broken it.
Mike.
Probably broken. There's no reason why it wouldn't have oil pressure.
Mike said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it sounded pretty good.
I didn't even think that way.
It's open headers. It's a V8 open headers. Well, it fired up. Fired right up, actually. I'm going to tell him you need to change the oil pressure sender. I should fire it up one more time, see if it moves. Try again?
Isn't the oil pump a part of the fucking
Distributor.
the-
So-
Well, yeah, so it should be running, period.
Alright, try it again. Well, hell yeah. There you have it, folks. It runs. It sounds pretty good for open headers. David, what do you think?
Too loud.
Too loud? Nah, it's not too loud. There's no such thing as too loud. We do have an issue. Mikey did say he thought he might have broke the oil pressure sender. We're not getting any pressure on the gauge. That's why we fired it up and cut it right off. We're just going to go ahead and replace the sender and do that. But, boom, done. So now we're going to close this out. And the next video you see with this is going to be tuning, timing, and everything else. Tuning, timing, cleanup. We're going to test and make sure that that air cleaner over there fits and the hood can close, and, you know, all that other good stuff. So fitment specific Corvette things and whatnot. So, oh, let me take you underneath the car. All right, so as you can see, it's all put back together except for the exhaust. I need to get exhaust gaskets. All my exhausts are 3-inch collectors, and these are 2.5-inch. So that was a slight oversight on my part. But as you can see, it's all put back together. Drive shaft's in, everything's in. Emergency brake cables put back on. Transmission cross members back in. Motors, yep. There's the oil pressure sender that we're going to have to fix. We're not getting a reading, and that's troublesome. The engine should have oil pressure because it ran, and they broke it in. So, but I don't want to take that chance with a new motor. So we are going to swap that out and then verify and tune. But it has been a crazy, couple of days. Obviously, work and everything else with Mikey and me and trying to get everything together. This just kind of sits here. Oh, elephant in the room at the end of the video too, by the way. This is an air wrap that Mikey had done, and he got impatient with it and started ripping it off. So that's why the Corvette is half green, chameleon, and half its original color. But this is the color it's supposed to be. It's really nice color. So, but yeah, and you heard it. It runs. It runs, fires up, boom, good to go. Like I said, I just don't want to take the chance with the oil pressure thing. So I'm going to put this back on here. That's to protect the carburetor while I'm going. So that being said, David and I got it knocked out. We fired the car up. It runs. Mikey's going to come back. I'm going to hitch this up, and him and I together are going to finish looming some wires. We're going to fix the plug wires. We're going to fix all the piddly stuff that it needs in order to run, and have him have miles of trouble-free driving with it. But that's the name of the game. We want to have these projects. We want to drive them, enjoy them, have a good time with them, and be safe. Above all, be safe. Safety first, right? So, with that being said, get out there. Go work on something. Grab a cup of coffee and have a good time. I'm Paulie. You guys keep it between the ditches and come back and see.